The world of blades, particularly in the realm of Damascus steel, is steeped in a fascinating historical and metallurgical misunderstanding that has persisted for centuries. What many people today refer to as Damascus steel, with its mesmerizing wavy patterns is, in most cases, actually pattern-welded steel. These two types of steel, while visually similar, have entirely different origins and manufacturing processes. This distinction is crucial for understanding the true history and artistry behind these legendary materials. The story of this confusion begins with the original Damascus steel, known historically as Wootz. This remarkable material did not achieve its distinctive patterns by welding together different pieces of iron. Instead, its creation was rooted in an ancient Indian technique, with the finished product often traded and forged in Damascus, Syria. The process involved placing iron and organic materials like wood or leaves into a sealed clay crucible. This crucible was then heated to extremely high temperatures, causing the contents to melt and fuse. The chemical secret behind Wootz steel lay in this unique melting process, which resulted in a high-carbon steel imbued with specific impurities such as vanadium, tungsten, and manganese. When this molten metal block cooled very slowly, these elements microscopically aligned themselves, forming iron carbides. It was this natural alignment that, when the blade was subsequently forged and treated with acid, revealed the characteristic undulating patterns reminiscent of flowing water. The true Damascus steel was a marvel of ancient metallurgy, its patterns an intrinsic part of its chemical structure. However, around the 18th century, the specific mines in India that supplied the necessary raw materials began to deplete. Concurrently, the precise techniques for cooling and forging the steel without causing it to fracture were gradually lost to time. The original Wootz Damascus steel thus faded into legend, becoming a mythical material whose exact creation process was shrouded in mystery. While the Middle East dominated the market with these extraordinary Wootz blades, European blacksmiths, including the Vikings and Celts, were simultaneously attempting to replicate the visual and structural qualities of these legendary weapons. They worked with the materials and knowledge available to them, leading to the development of pattern welding. This technique involved taking two or more types of steel with distinct properties. Typically, one steel with a high carbon content for hardness and another, often containing nickel, for flexibility and a brighter appearance. The blacksmith would stack these bars, heat them to a welding temperature, and then hammer them together until they fused into a single solid block. This process is known as forge welding. To create the intricate designs, this newly formed block would be repeatedly folded, twisted, punched, or cut. After these manipulations, the blade would be immersed in a ferric acid solution. The acid would corrode the different types of steel at varying rates, thereby revealing the striking visual patterns of the folded layers. This pattern-welded steel was a testament to the European smiths' ingenuity and their ability to create visually stunning and functionally robust blades, even without access to the specific raw materials and techniques of Wootz steel. The reason why the term Damascus became almost universally applied to pattern-welded steel, despite their fundamental differences, is quite simple: appearance and historical marketing. For the average buyer, whether a warrior during the Crusades or a modern collector, the exotic visual appeal and the promise of a superior blade were paramount. As the original crucible steel was incredibly expensive and eventually disappeared, blacksmiths who mastered the art of pattern welding began to market their patterned blades under the prestigious name Damascus. This lent an air of value and mystique to their products. The term stuck so firmly that it evolved into a commercial convention, blurring the lines between the two distinct metallurgical processes. Today, modern scientists and master bladesmiths have managed to replicate the original Wootz steel in laboratories, understanding its complex chemical and structural properties. However, in the artisanal cutlery market, pattern welding remains the preferred method for creating patterned blades. This is largely due to the control it offers over the design and the consistent quality that can be achieved. The fundamental differences in performance and creation between the original Damascus, Wootz, and pattern-welded steel are significant. The pattern in original Damascus steel arose from the natural chemical crystallization within the crucible, resulting in a single, high-carbon alloy with patterns that were organic and somewhat random, often described as fire or wave patterns. In contrast, the pattern in pattern-welded steel is a result of the mechanical folding, twisting, and manipulation by the blacksmith. It consists of multiple layers of different alloys joined by heat, offering the smith total control over the design, allowing for geometric patterns, raindrop designs, and many other intricate motifs. To say that a modern pattern-welded blade is Damascus is, from a strict metallurgical and historical perspective, akin to calling any sparkling wine champagne or any photocopy Xerox. It is a testament to the enduring power of a name and a visual aesthetic. While modern Damascus, pattern-welded, steel is often a masterpiece of engineering and forge control, frequently surpassing ancient steels in flexibility and resistance, the name itself is a romantic inheritance from a technique that vanished centuries ago. If one is researching this topic for a writing project or a script, the contrast between the lost mystery of chemistry and the mechanical mastery of folding offers rich ground for analogies and narrative exploration. It highlights how human ingenuity adapts and reinterprets historical achievements, creating new forms of artistry and craftsmanship. The journey of Damascus steel, from its ancient origins to its modern interpretations, is a compelling narrative of innovation, loss, and reinvention. The allure of these patterned blades continues to captivate enthusiasts and collectors worldwide. The intricate designs, whether born from the crucible or the forge, speak to a deep human appreciation for beauty and craftsmanship. The historical journey of these steels also underscores the importance of understanding the nuances of terminology and the evolution of metallurgical practices. It reminds us that behind every legendary object, there is a story of human endeavor, scientific discovery, and artistic expression. The legacy of Damascus steel, in both its original and modern forms, is a powerful symbol of the enduring quest for perfection in blade making. The process of pattern welding itself is a highly skilled art form that requires immense patience and precision. A blacksmith begins by selecting specific types of steel, each chosen for its unique properties. For instance, a high-carbon steel might be selected for its ability to hold a sharp edge, while a softer, more ductile steel might be chosen for its flexibility and resistance to shattering. These different steels are then stacked in alternating layers. The stack is heated in a forge to a temperature where the metals become plastic enough to be welded together under pressure, but not so hot that they melt and lose their distinct layers. Once at the correct temperature, the blacksmith uses a hammer, either by hand or with a power hammer, to compress the layers, forcing them to fuse together. This initial welding creates a solid billet. The billet is then drawn out, meaning it is stretched and elongated, and subsequently folded back on itself. This folding and re-welding process is repeated multiple times. Each fold doubles the number of layers, and with each repetition, the patterns become more intricate and refined. The number of layers can range from a few dozen to several hundred, depending on the desired complexity of the pattern. After the desired number of layers and folds has been achieved, the blacksmith can further manipulate the billet to create specific patterns. This might involve twisting the billet, grinding grooves into its surface before further forging, or even drilling holes that are then filled and re-welded. These techniques allow for an incredible variety of patterns, from simple ladder patterns to complex mosaic designs that resemble eyes or other geometric shapes. The final step in revealing these patterns is the acid etch. The acid reacts differently with the various steel alloys, eating away at them at different rates, which highlights the distinct layers and brings the hidden patterns to life. The result is a blade that is not only functional but also a unique work of art. The historical context of pattern welding in Europe is also significant. Before the widespread availability of homogeneous, high-quality steel, pattern welding was a practical method for combining different grades of iron and steel to create a superior blade. By layering hard and soft materials, smiths could produce blades that were both tough and flexible, capable of withstanding the rigors of combat without breaking. This practical application eventually evolved into an aesthetic pursuit, as smiths realized the beauty that could be achieved through careful manipulation of the layers. The modern resurgence of interest in both Wootz and pattern-welded steel has led to extensive research and experimentation. Scientists have used advanced analytical techniques to study ancient Wootz blades, unraveling the secrets of their microstructure and the role of specific trace elements in their unique properties. This research has allowed contemporary metallurgists to recreate Wootz steel in controlled laboratory environments, albeit with significant challenges in scaling up production. Meanwhile, modern bladesmiths have pushed the boundaries of pattern welding, developing new techniques and combining a wider array of alloys to create increasingly complex and visually stunning patterns. The availability of high-quality, consistent steel alloys has enabled smiths to achieve levels of precision and artistry that were perhaps unimaginable in ancient times. The tools and equipment available today, such as precise temperature control in furnaces and powerful hydraulic presses, also contribute to the ability to create consistently high-quality pattern-welded steel. The debate over the true Damascus steel often highlights the tension between historical accuracy and popular perception. While purists might insist on the distinction between Wootz and pattern-welded steel, the term Damascus has become so ingrained in common parlance that it is unlikely to be fully dislodged. Instead, it serves as a broad descriptor for any patterned steel blade, much like Kleenex for facial tissues or Band-Aid for adhesive bandages. For those interested in the craft, understanding this distinction enriches the appreciation for both forms of steel. It allows one to marvel at the lost art of Wootz, a testament to ancient chemical metallurgy, and simultaneously admire the intricate artistry and engineering prowess of modern pattern welding. Each type of steel represents a pinnacle of its respective era's metallurgical knowledge and craftsmanship. The cultural impact of Damascus steel extends beyond its practical applications. It has been romanticized in literature, art, and folklore, symbolizing strength, beauty, and mystery. The patterns themselves are often seen as mystical, almost magical, reflecting light in a way that seems to give the blade a life of its own. This mystique continues to draw people to these blades, whether they are collectors, martial artists, or simply admirers of fine craftsmanship. In conclusion, the journey of Damascus steel is a compelling narrative of human ingenuity, cultural exchange, and the evolution of technology. From the ancient crucibles of India to the modern forges of contemporary bladesmiths, the quest to create the perfect blade with mesmerizing patterns has driven innovation for millennia. While the original Wootz steel remains a historical marvel, pattern-welded steel stands as a testament to the enduring human desire to create beauty and function through the mastery of metal. The confusion in terminology, while metallurgically inaccurate, underscores the powerful visual appeal that has captivated generations and ensured the legend of Damascus steel lives on. The intricate dance of carbon atoms within the iron matrix of Wootz steel, guided by the slow cooling process, created a microstructure that was inherently unique. This microstructure, characterized by bands of cementite, iron carbide, within a softer ferrite matrix, was responsible for both the visible patterns and the exceptional properties of the steel. The high carbon content, typically ranging from 1% to 1.9%, was crucial for achieving the desired hardness and edge retention. However, such high carbon content usually makes steel brittle. The genius of the Wootz process lay in controlling the formation and distribution of these carbides, preventing them from forming large, continuous networks that would lead to brittleness. Instead, they formed fine, discontinuous bands that provided hardness while the surrounding ferrite offered toughness. The presence of trace elements like vanadium, molybdenum, and tungsten, often found in the specific Indian iron ores used, played a critical role in nucleating these carbide structures, influencing their size and distribution. This subtle interplay of chemistry and thermodynamics was the true secret of Wootz. The loss of this knowledge was not a sudden event, but a gradual decline. As the specific ore sources dwindled, smiths had to adapt to different raw materials, which may not have contained the necessary trace elements. Furthermore, the precise control over the cooling rates and forging temperatures, passed down through generations, might have been lost due to political upheavals, changing trade routes, or simply the death of master smiths without apprentices to carry on the full tradition. The oral transmission of such complex metallurgical knowledge is always vulnerable. The European pattern welding tradition, while distinct, shared a similar motivation: to improve the quality of available iron and steel. Early European iron was often inconsistent in quality, with varying carbon content and impurities. By forge welding layers of different materials, smiths could average out these inconsistencies, creating a more homogeneous and reliable blade. This was particularly important for long swords, which needed to be strong enough to withstand impact without breaking, yet flexible enough to absorb shocks. The aesthetic appeal of pattern welding quickly became a significant factor. The swirling patterns were not just a byproduct of the manufacturing process, but a deliberate artistic choice. They served as a visual signature of the smith's skill and the quality of the blade. In many cultures, these patterns were imbued with symbolic meaning, representing flowing water, serpents, or other natural phenomena. The ability to control and manipulate these patterns allowed smiths to create truly personalized and unique weapons, enhancing their value and prestige. The evolution of pattern welding techniques over centuries led to increasingly sophisticated designs. From simple twisted bars to complex mosaic patterns, Each advancement represented a deeper understanding of metal behavior under heat and pressure. The development of specialized tools and techniques, such as etching solutions, further refined the visual impact of these blades. The modern revival of both Wootz and pattern-welded steel is a testament to the enduring fascination with these materials. Contemporary metallurgists, armed with scanning electron microscopes and advanced analytical tools, have been able to reverse engineer the ancient Wootz process. They have identified the specific microstructures and chemical compositions that give Wootz its unique properties. This scientific understanding has allowed for the creation of recreated Wootz, or modern Wootz steels, which exhibit similar patterns and properties to their ancient counterparts. However, the labor-intensive nature of the crucible process and the difficulty in consistently producing large, flawless billets mean that modern Wootz remains a niche product, primarily for specialized researchers and high-end custom knife makers. Pattern welding, on the other hand, has seen a widespread resurgence in the artisanal knife-making community. The accessibility of modern steel alloys with known compositions, combined with improved forging equipment and techniques, has allowed a new generation of bladesmiths to explore the artistic potential of pattern welding to an unprecedented degree. They experiment with different combinations of steels, varying the carbon content, nickel content, and other alloying elements to achieve specific visual effects and performance characteristics. The patterns themselves have become incredibly diverse, ranging from traditional ladder and raindrop patterns to highly intricate mosaic and feather patterns, which require meticulous planning and execution. The ongoing dialogue between historical research and modern practice continues to enrich our understanding of these materials. Historians and archaeologists contribute by unearthing and analyzing ancient artifacts, providing tangible links to the past. Metallurgists provide the scientific framework for understanding the underlying principles. And bladesmiths, through their hands-on work, keep the traditions alive while pushing the boundaries of what is possible. This multidisciplinary approach ensures that the legacy of Damascus steel, in all its forms, continues to evolve and inspire. The term itself, despite its historical inaccuracy when applied broadly, has become a powerful brand, instantly recognizable and associated with quality, beauty, and craftsmanship. It evokes images of legendary warriors, exotic lands, and the timeless art of the blacksmith. The romantic notion of a lost art adds to the mystique. The idea that a secret was once known, then forgotten, and now perhaps rediscovered, resonates deeply with human curiosity. This narrative arc is particularly strong with Wootz steel, whose exact methods of production truly did vanish for centuries. The modern efforts to recreate it are not just scientific endeavors but also acts of historical reclamation, connecting us to the ingenuity of ancient civilizations. Similarly, pattern welding, while never truly lost, has been elevated to an art form that transcends mere utility. A well-crafted pattern-welded blade is not just a tool. It is a sculpture, a piece of functional art that tells a story through its swirling lines and contrasting layers. The distinction between the two types of Damascus steel is not merely academic. It speaks to different philosophies of metalworking. Wootz was about controlling the internal chemistry and crystallography of a single material to reveal inherent patterns. Pattern welding is about the mechanical manipulation and artistic arrangement of multiple materials to create external patterns. Both approaches yield stunning results, but their underlying principles are fundamentally different. Understanding this difference allows for a more nuanced appreciation of the skill and knowledge involved in each. It also helps consumers make informed choices, recognizing that a Damascus knife today is almost certainly pattern-welded, and appreciating it for the unique qualities and artistry that process entails. The global spread of these techniques further complicates the narrative. While Wootz originated in India and was traded through Damascus, pattern welding traditions developed independently in various parts of Europe and Asia. The Vikings, for example, were renowned for their pattern-welded swords, which combined layers of hard and soft iron to create blades of exceptional strength and flexibility. Japanese sword-making, particularly the folding process used to create katana, shares some conceptual similarities with pattern welding, though it evolved with its own distinct metallurgical and ritualistic practices. These diverse traditions highlight the universal human drive to improve tools and weapons through metallurgical innovation. The enduring appeal of these patterned steels lies in their ability to combine function with profound aesthetic beauty. A blade is, at its core, a tool designed for cutting. But when that tool is adorned with intricate, flowing patterns, it transcends its utilitarian purpose and becomes something more. It becomes an object of contemplation, a symbol of mastery, and a connection to a rich historical lineage. The visual complexity of the patterns, the way they catch the light, and the subtle variations in tone and texture create a dynamic surface that is endlessly fascinating. This visual richness is a key reason why the term Damascus has persisted, even if it now encompasses a broader range of techniques than its original meaning. Ultimately, the story of Damascus steel is a microcosm of human technological and artistic development. It shows how practical needs drive innovation, how knowledge can be lost and rediscovered, and how aesthetics can become intertwined with functionality. Whether one is discussing the ancient crucible steel or the modern pattern-welded variety, the conversation is always about the pursuit of excellence in metalworking. It is about the smith's intimate understanding of their materials, their mastery of fire and hammer, and their ability to transform raw elements into objects of both power and beauty. The legacy of Damascus steel, in all its forms, continues to inspire awe and wonder, ensuring its place as one of the most celebrated materials in the history of craftsmanship. The journey from a simple lump of or to a gleaming patterned blade is a testament to human ingenuity and artistic vision, a story that continues to unfold with each new generation of smiths and metallurgists.